Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Masks Off. I'm Kim.
And I'm Tia.
And this actually feels very different and very weird because we are recording on a different day and very, very impromptu. So Tia and I were just talking earlier and this is what really started our podcast is we used to just have these conversations. Like we would talk to each other about whatever's coming up or going on for you or for me. And then we're, one day, let's just start recording these conversations.
Right.
That is what we're doing right now, literally.
Yep.
So I'm going to start with our quote. And the quote says, "Give yourself permission to unplug and regroup without feeling guilty. You can't be there for others if you don't take care of yourself first." Anonymous.
It's tough.
Oh my God, it's so, I say it all the time. No, I don't say it's not my saying, my quote, but it's that saying of the oxygen mask, right? When you're on a plane and the flight attendant says, please put your oxygen mask on first before assisting others. And although it's such a great visual and a great reminder, how many of us do it? And going back to, we were just talking about the book Burnout, and I cannot think of the two women, but maybe you
Still
can
have
see.
it up.
So
It's
Brene
Emily
Brown,
and
Amelia, and I'm not sure how to say their last name.
Nagowski, I think.
Yes. So I was listening to Brene Brown's podcast, and Tia has already listened to it. So she told me,
so good.
It's so good. And they were just both mentioning and pointing to how it can happen for men as well, but in particular women, right? The nurturers, let's just say whoever is a nurturer and a caretaker, just what was the term? The human giver, right? I think they were using that term of the human giver and rather opposed to the human being. I thought that was brilliant. I loved that. So this whole conversation came up because I was sharing with Tia that I feel like I hit a wall. I hit a brick wall. I am feeling burned out today. And so it is a Sunday, just again to illustrate that. So going back to this quote, give yourself permission to unplug and regroup. I am struggling to do that. As much
permission piece.
The permission piece, as much as my body is screaming, you need to stop. You need to rest. Like I can feel a sore throat coming on, and it's telling me, oh, isn't that interesting? Because I'm using my voice so much, right? With sessions
totally.
and where am I feeling the pain showing up in my throat, where then I won't be able to talk. The body and mind are so brilliant.
So connected.
So connected, so brilliant.
And they talk about that. I think it's in the back half of the podcast, which you'll get to, and you'll be like,
yeah,
oh, yes. So,
yes.
I mean, we talk about it a lot. We're talking about it in the balancing your backpack and all that, but we can talk, like you're talking, we can talk about it, and we're still human. We still have to continue to practice. Even though you know in your head, you need to do this. It's releasing and letting go.
I feel the duality. I feel the duality within myself because like you said, my consciousness knows that it's so important for all of us to take care of ourselves. Self-care is key.
Right.
And it's okay, even from the standpoint of athletes or working out. Athletes know they need to have a recovery day. Right. They know if they want to perform at their optimum level, they have to have recovery built in. That's why they do ice baths. That's why they do, the massage and everything they do.
Right.
So I know that on a cognitive level that it's so helpful, but then I feel the pull of, no, you don't deserve to give yourself permission. You have to keep going. You have to push. You've got more to do. There's so much to get done.
People rely on you.
People are relying on me.
Can't let them down. Can't let my
even
family
if it's
down.
Even if it's a phone call. Like I got a text this morning from a friend that wanted to catch up and chat. We haven't talked in a really long time. And, I would love to talk with her, but I also am feeling the pull of that's something I have to do. It's still is mental. And like, I want to check out completely, like pull the blanket over my head. Don't anybody talk to me.
Right.
But that's because I've allowed myself to get to the brick wall.
It's the co-creation, right? You co-created this with your life. 100% responsibility.
So it is really hard. Yeah. So another and again, I didn't listen to it. It is what it is. But another visual it's imagery visual that I use to help me sometimes in these situations is because, so I've mentioned before that I've had an autoimmune disease since 2005, so 15 years. And back in the beginning, I remember at a conference that I went to on Sjogren's, one of the doctors or someone spoke about, okay, when you have this autoimmune disease, you need to, it's the traffic light, red, green, and yellow. Okay. So when I'm feeling good and I've got the energy, my body's good, that's green, I can go. When I start to notice, I'm starting to feel a little tired or some pain, like when I get to the yellow, that's the caution of put on the brakes and slow down.
Yeah.
Don't get to red, because if you get to red, you've gone too far.
Right.
Now you've hit the wall, you've crashed, you
and
ran
it's going
into
to take
something.
you longer to recover.
It's going to take longer to recover.
Yeah.
So I can remember keeping that in my mind and using that all the time back in the and even now I need to, like, I hit red. I got to the red light. I was aware. I shared in our other thing. I was aware, like yesterday, even the day before, that I was at yellow.
Yeah.
But I didn't heed the caution. I didn't heed the caution light. I just kept going. I just kept hitting as if it were green and just pushing through.
So what do you feel the difference between yesterday noticing the yellow and not listening and now today? Do you notice like it's more urgent now that you really, when we get off of recording, I mean, here we are doing again. I mean, but we enjoy this. We decided to do this, but it's still another
layer of doing.
Yeah.
There still is a layer of doing,
because we didn't plan on doing this.
We did not plan on it. No. So that's a good question, because as far as balancing your backpack, not that I have to, but part of today is movement. And I've been body scanning for sure, because I'm paying attention. I know in my throat. And then of course, sleep ritual is fine, because that's later on tonight and that's helpful. But honestly, in terms of what you asked me, like I literally am still in my pajamas. It's almost noontime for me, and I plan on staying in them unless I get out and move. And even if I do that, it's really pretty and beautiful out today. So maybe I'll get dressed and take a little walk. But otherwise, when I get to this point and feel so fatigued because I've hit red, all I can really do is just be on the couch. And it's like, it takes so much energy just to sometimes just scrape my body up off the chair or couch to get up and go to the bathroom. Like that's the kind of fatigue level that sets in with this autoimmune disease. I mean, other people might feel that kind of fatigue as well, but that's a particular symptom that does set in with Sjogren's, is that kind of fatigue that you feel like cement, concrete, and you can't, your mind says, let me get up to go get some water, but you're like, your body won't move. It doesn't.
Yeah. You don't want to get there.
No, I know. And so that's why we thought I'm glad we are recording right now, because I think it's so crucial and important to illustrate this, especially we're not the only ones, because Emily and Amelia are on Brene Brown's podcast talking about this burnout.
And she talked about how it ended her up in the hospital.
Exactly. She ended up in the hospital with unexplained pain.
Yep.
And that's the brilliance of the mind body. Like that is how the body just is always speaking and telling us.
So as you're sharing where you're at in this moment, are you coming more to terms with giving yourself permission to just rest today once we hang up?
Yeah, I think so.
Good.
Yeah, I'm more so. Again, I think it's because I don't really have a choice. You know what I mean? It's interesting because I feel so fatigued. If I wasn't, but I guess if I wasn't feeling so badly, would I be more at a yellow? I'm absolutely know it because I feel this sore throat, and I don't want to get sick. So
yeah.
I am willing to take care of my body and love my body enough that when we're done, I'm going on the couch.
Good. I'm so glad to hear it.
I'm literally, you know what? I'm even thinking that besides just having a little conversation, quick one with my dad in Florida, I'm going to leave my phone in a separate room. That's huge.
Wow.
Yeah. I know.
That's good.
Well, yeah, because the quote is saying unplug. So I'm thinking unplug from technology is what I really need to do and regroup.
Well, and you think how much technology does drain us.
Yes.
The mindless piece, but then there's the energy piece of making sure you're responding and you're using mindful words and all of that pressure we put on ourselves. Whether we realize it or not, it's there. So
yeah. What about you? Are you good at giving yourself permission to unplug and regroup?
It depends. Like, every moment is different, right? So there's times where it's really simple, and then I think it's easier for me when I don't have as much going on in life.
Yes.
Like I don't have, I need to make sure like I have to get this done and I have to get this done, and the to-do list, right? When I'm in human doing, it's really hard for me to unplug, and I'll do it in small bits, but not in the encompassing space I need. So I kind of like trick my brain that, see, you are taking care of yourself. See, you just, took 5 minutes to do this or did that. But the reality is it's turned into a to-do list of, you need to take care of yourself. Okay, check. I did it. Check.
Yes.
I did it. Versus that space of actually exhaling. It's not a true exhale. It's more, so at least I do those little bits. It's better than nothing.
Yeah.
But it's not the full encompass. Your body needs a half a day off, a full day off. I can't honestly think of the last time I took a full day off.
I was going to just say that. I was going to say, let's talk about that, because I think that's really important to distinguish between the two. Because I hear you on those little bits throughout the day, like, okay, we've been talking about imbalancing your backpack, move your body. I make sure I'm drinking my water. I'll take a 10-minute. Yeah, exactly. So all those little things, and they do add up. That is part of putting your oxygen mask on.
Don't stop doing them.
Don't stop doing that. We're not saying that, but the bigger thing, that is, like, I think I mentioned somewhere about the vacation, right? Because when you're on vacation,
right,
you can really, or you go away, really unplug. And then you allow yourself the permission, because, well, I'm on vacation, I've paid for this, so I should unplug. And it's okay to unplug.
Yes.
Well, how do you unplug
in day-to-day life, and especially in the world we're in right now?
I know.
Because I don't know about you, and obviously when you work for yourself, every day a day doesn't go by I haven't done some sort of work.
Exactly.
To be honest.
Yes.
It may not be a work product that's complete, but there's always something that I do. And it's not one thing typically, I work at night a lot.
Me too. Always.
It's not uncommon. So I don't have like work hours. Okay, this is my relaxing time. It just blends together. And I completely lost my train of thought. But it's taking that permission to do it now in the world we live of, where we don't even know what day it is half the time.
I know.
It's because there's no typical routine. Even working from home before, I had my typical routine of, I would go to the gym on these days and go to these classes. So I always knew what day it was. right? You know, on this day, I typically would try to meet up with a friend for coffee, or I'd work at the coffee shop on this day. So there was that ritualistic piece. And so now living in quarantine with no semblance of what day or time it is.
No
At least
clue.
that's what it feels like for me.
Me too.
If I did not have a calendar, I wouldn't know when it was. It's become harder to carve out bigger chunks of time. Like I used to go to the barn and spend a couple hours just hanging with the horses. I honestly can't think of the last time I did that.
Right.
I mean, I'll go, but it's more like, hi, okay, I love you. Here's some treats. Let me give you some scratches. But not like I used to literally sit down, listen to them eat their hay. It's a beautiful sound, sit in the sun and just soak it in and just be. And
I know.
I need to do that this week.
And I think that, you know, you and I are not alone in this. And even if it's okay, so you mentioned because you work for yourself and I work for myself, and how you can just constantly be doing something for that. But even people who are still working outside the home and go to a job, so then they come home, then there's a house to take care of, or there's kids to take care of,
or email to check still,
or email, right? So it is this never ending list of just this pressure of things to do. And that's why I'm really excited. I am going to buy that book, Burnout, and just see what type of suggestions they might have. But I do think it is so key. And we always talk about, we live in this world of form. So it's not like we can check out.
And I don't want to check out.
And I don't want to check out, but it comes right back to balance.
Exactly. It's all about balance and checking in and, you know, noticing. Like you were saying earlier, I don't remember if it was a recorded on here or not, or if it was before we hit record, recognizing what are our signs that we're out of balance.
Yeah.
I mean,
oh yes. Yeah.
You know, mine, I know we talked about it, but I don't think we had hit record yet. My biggest one is I just want to hole up and I don't want to interact with the world. But even then I have that sign, but I still will do what I need to do.
I know.
When I don't actually give myself permission to just crawl under the blanket and just take a nap.
So we literally need to give ourselves permission to go on a retreat. And I don't mean leave your house, go on a retreat. You know what I mean?
You don't have to.
Right. Create one somehow. Like, I don't even know this is such a challenge, because I feel the anxiety rising in me of no freaking way. No, like, no, me carve out 4 hours to just like put a sign on my office door. If I were to stay in here, like, leave me alone, go away. Or, you know what I mean? Like the anxiety is rising within me.
Yeah.
So this is something I'm going to really sit with and pay attention to.
Yeah, me too.
Because I'm thinking about my calendar in the back of my mind and all, you know, okay, well, what day would I choose then to unplug?
Right. Right. And speaking of which, my daughter's FaceTiming right now, and I'm just going to tell her I'll get back to you in a second.
Yes, I know, right? Because they can bypass. I don't even have my phone on airplane mode at the moment.
I didn't either, because this was so impromptu.
So impromptu. But anyway, so maybe the thing is that we don't have an answer right in this moment. Or maybe the point to illustrate is it is hard, because I can hear all our listeners saying as well, like, all right, yeah, sure. Come on, Tia, come on, Kim, you know, carve out a half a day or a full day in this busy world, this busy life to just be on a retreat, quote unquote, is unreasonable and not going to happen. And yet maybe we all just need to sit with that and explore that.
Right.
And where are we racing to?
And what would happen if we don't take that time?
I know. Well, obviously.
I mean, you know what would happen for you because of your autoimmune.
Yeah.
I don't know what would happen to me. I can guess. I have a pretty good inkling of what would happen. I mean, basically we get sick, right? In some way, shape, or form.
Yes, just like they said.
That's what happens, right? Yeah. I just don't know how it would manifest in what exact way. So and it doesn't, what if we don't even have to take a half a day or a full day? What if we actually just, instead of doing, and don't stop doing these little 5-minute things, because they are important. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that, but also give ourselves permission to, I'm going to give myself an hour.
Yes.
With no plan. And that means no Netflix, because that's a numbing thing.
Yes.
Like, I'm just going to sit and maybe doodle, or maybe just take a nap, something as simple as that. Because I have the mindset, I don't nap. I'm not a napper.
Yep.
Okay. Is that actually true? Or is that a story I've told myself because you can't rest?
Exactly.
So it's like you said, let's explore it. Let's just
explore,
look at it.
Look at the stories that we tell ourselves about this.
Right. Because
and
they're so strong.
And another way to really bring it home, and maybe we can just wrap up here with that, is to, sometimes what I'll do when I really want to get in touch with what's going on, I'll say to myself, imagine I'm at the end of my life. And I look back.
Yes.
What's going to really matter? Is it going to matter like all this rushing, racing, doing, being stuff? Or if I only had 1 week to live, how would I want to spend that week? Would I be doing what I'm doing, or even as much of what I'm doing? Or would I be slowing down and smelling the roses more, so to speak?
Right. Exactly. And I think it comes back to, again, about balance. I mean, I love my job. I love serving. I love doing what I'm doing. But some of what I'm doing in relation to my job is busy work.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's not necessary.
Totally. I do.
And some of it is avoidance of the things I should, in quote, be doing. But it's like, oh, that's hard and more painful and more difficult. So I'm just going to do the stuff. I'm going to make another little Canva or do this because it's kind of creative and it's fun, but it's also not always necessary for some of the things I do it for.
Yes.
And so recognizing what is important.
I think that's key. How important is it? Yep.
Because I don't want to stop doing what I'm doing, because it fills me up. The podcast fills me up. I mean, I already know when we hit end record, I already can tell I feel better.
So do I. Even though my throat hurts, I do feel more energized now than I did when I first started talking to you.
And I feel more energized to truly at least take a break, whatever that looks like.
Yeah.
Like I'll be honest, I don't think I'm ready to take a full half-day break at the moment.
Yes.
That may change. Yeah. But I really feel like I'm tempted to go make some pumpkin bars or something.
Yes.
Because it's relaxing for me.
Yes.
I have something kind of yummy to eat.
Yummy to have later. Yes. Oh my God. This was good. This
I'm glad we ended up doing this.
I know. Me too. Impromptu, like just right where we both are. A topic that I know so many can relate to.
Yeah.
And while we didn't completely solve all the world problems in this little episode, we certainly have just touched upon some things to think about and to chew on.
Exactly. Yeah. And it was authentic.
Yeah, it was really good.
It's good.
So thank you everybody for joining us, and we will see you all in the next episode.
Have a good one. Bye. And rest. Explore your rest. Bye.